Hey friend, how are you? My name is Tim Shurr, President of Shurr Success Seminars, and today I wanted to give you some of the best leadership advice that I have observed over hanging out with some of the best leaders in the country. And so I want to just share a few tips with you because there's a lot of advice out there on the internet. Everybody is suddenly a leadership expert and talking about it and making videos. So this has just been my experience as someone who spent the last 27 years studying human behavior and paying attention to what's going on, paying attention to what most people are not ever even paying attention to, right? I'm watching the little things, the subtle things, the unconscious things that are happening around us all the time. In fact, my most popular keynote is called Seeing the Invisible, right? And what you don't know about you is what's holding you back, and how to make the unconscious more conscious so that you're able to have more impact, influence, and engagement with those that you are leading. And so the best leadership advice that I have for you is basically to do three things, right? Those three things are increase your self-awareness, increase your observational awareness, and increase your social awareness. So it's all about increasing 3 levels of awareness, of your leadership awareness. So let me go through that real quickly. So self-awareness is what's going on inside of you. What beliefs are driving you? What are the attitudes and expectations that are in your mind unconsciously that are dictating how you think, how you feel, how you behave? More than anything else, your belief system is what is going to determine whether you succeed or not, whether you lead other people or not. For example, if you are a leader and you think that, if you have a belief that motivating people is a hassle, that having to deal with humans is a bother and a frustration, it's like, oh, what do I got to do now? Who do I got to deal with next? What fire do I got to put out next? Then that belief is going to cause how you show up. You'll show up pressured or stressed. You won't look up from your laptop, or you'll be checking your text while you're having a conversation with somebody, and you'll be sending the clear message, even if you're not intending to that person that you're communicating with, that you don't matter to me. My other things are more important. Or maybe you really do care about people, and you care about them so much that you have a hard time being direct with them. You have a belief that if you're too honest and too direct, that you're going to ruin the relationship, which again will cost you as a leader because you have to learn how to be both direct and compassionate. Most people are terrible at being direct. Now, I live in the Midwest, and in the Midwest, people are horrible at being direct. They will go all the way around the issue to not hurt somebody's feelings. If you're maybe on the East Coast, though, I have a lot of friends from New York who say that they're too direct, that they forget the compassion piece. They want to help you, so they're going to tell you how it is, but sometimes they forget that you have to have that empathy as well. So it's really the balance of having both, being direct and being compassionate. So you got to understand what beliefs are that drive you. When I work with somebody, the first thing I do is I try to figure out what is the belief that's going to get them where they want to be, and what's the belief that's keeping them stuck. We all have a bunch of BS in our head, belief systems. So we want to make sure that we are focusing on developing that strong belief system so that you really are using the power of your mind to create your life by design instead of going through life reacting to everything that's happening around you. So that's self-awareness. The next step is you want to create observational awareness, which again, the most effective leaders are the ones who are paying attention to what's going on around them. They're the ones who are looking for opportunities to catch people doing things right. Our culture has kind of trained us to focus on what's going wrong. You do 9 things well, you mess up once, what are you focusing on? That one thing. You did 90% great, but we're focusing on that one thing. And so we've got to make sure that we are training ourselves to look at what's going right, because where your attention goes, your energy flows. And wherever you're putting the most energy, that's what's going to grow. Most people say they want flowers and they spend all their time watering the weeds. Well, all you're going to do is get more weeds if that's what you're watering. So every garden has weeds. We want to focus on growing the flowers. We want to focus on the outcomes that we want to create. And so observational awareness is about paying attention to what's going on around you and looking for opportunities to catch people doing things right. So an example of that is when you go in the elevator and everybody stares forward or stares at their shoes or starts staring at their phone because, God forbid, we talk to each other, right? Saying something nice, paying attention to how somebody's dressed or what they're wearing. So offering Random acts of kindness through compliments, very effective. I made some great friends just by complimenting them riding up and down the elevator, and we kind of hit it off. And so I said, hey, let's connect on LinkedIn, or let's, I'll give you a call, give me your card. And it turned into some great relationships just because I said, to the guys, hey, the suit looks great, you look snazzy, or love the bow tie. Or talking to a female and saying, hey, I love the purse, or it goes great with the shoes. Whatever it is, you can ask them questions. Instead of just, what do you do for a living? You say, what do you like to do for fun? And you start to get to know these people a little bit deeper very quickly because you're paying attention to these opportunities. I was doing a seminar the other day, and there was a front row, and there was an empty seat, and somebody was sitting there, and they saw someone else coming towards that seat to sit down, and they're like, oh, no, it's reserved, it's reserved. Now, they were just being funny. They weren't trying to hurt anybody's feelings. But that person that was coming towards the seat felt embarrassed. I could tell because their body posture slumped, their face got a little bit red. And so they also, if they could have done that differently, if they had different observational awareness, what they could have said is, hey, I've been saving the seat for you. Get over here. How you been? Now it creates a relationship where someone feels cared for, appreciated. You don't know what buttons you're going to push in the people that you're talking to. You don't know where they've been or what their past has been like. So I always try to err on the side of kindness and compassion and lift people up. Now, I grew up in an age where everybody had a lot of sarcasm, so everybody was always ripping each other all the time. I have had to learn how to mature out of that. I thank my wife for a lot of that, poor thing. But I really had to learn how to evolve from sarcasm into care and offering compliments and paying attention to the impact that we have on those around us. So that's observational awareness. I could spend days talking about that, but this is a video, so I got to end it here with number 3, right? So we have self-awareness, we have observational awareness, and then the third level of awareness is what I call social awareness. And that's how you're communicating with each other. Do you really know how you're coming across to those around you? Either the people that you lead, or the people in sales situations, or even friends and family or networking. Do you really know how you're coming across? Do you know how what your body language is saying about you? Are you paying attention to the words that you're saying and the emotions that you're creating inside of people? When I train people who are customer service reps, I ask them, I say, how do you want people to feel when you hang up the phone with them? How do you want them to feel about you? So just by the words that we use, the interactions that we use, you can be turning somebody on and connecting with them or turning them off just by how you're standing. If you're a male talking to a female, you want your shoulders facing that female. If you angle off to the side, even though you're making eye contact, that female will feel like suddenly you don't care about her anymore, even if you feel like I totally am connected, right? Our body language communicates so much to people, but we don't know what it's communicating. And often we can be turning people off and not even know it. Every time you have a conversation with someone, you're either making a deposit into that account or you're making a withdrawal. And we want to make sure that we're being abundant in those situations. So paying attention to that, even paying attention to the words that you use. So if you say, hey, thanks so much, and I say, hey, no problem. What's the word you just heard? Problem, right? So now you walk away and the last word you had, the last association is problem. I don't want you associating problems with me. Or what if I try to be cool and I say, hey, no worries. Worries? I wasn't worried. Should I be worried? Right? Listen to the words that you're using. And so instead I would say, instead of no problem or no worries, if you said thank you, I'd say my pleasure. Because I want you associating pleasure and comfort to me so that you want to hang around me more. People are always assessing pleasure and pain to everybody. We're constantly judging. We can't help it. It's how our mind works. So we want to make sure that we are intentionally associating ourselves with pleasure and helping other people feel good about being around us so that we can have a positive impact on them. So before I start rambling on this, because I get all excited about it, I want you to do 3 things when you watch this, after you watch this video. I want you to do 3 things today. Okay, 1, develop your self-awareness. Start asking yourself questions like, what am I really telling myself all day long? Or what do I really believe about myself, or about leaders, or about salespeople, or about customers? If you believe that customers are your new best friend, it's going to be very different from buyers or liars, right? So what do you really believe about the people that you're working with? And then ask yourself, is that belief useful? Is it going to move you towards what you want? Try to get away from the subjective words of positive and negative and shift into useful and unuseful. Is this a useful belief? Is it going to move you closer to what you want, the outcome you desire, or is it going to move you farther away? So start to pay attention to the beliefs you have. Step 2, what I'd like for you to do is pay attention to what's going on around you. Pay attention to whether you can hold the door for somebody. Pay attention when you're having a conversation if somebody is finishing their thought before you jump in. Most people are terrible listeners. They're constantly cutting off the people that they're having conversations with. So listen to the end of the sentence. In fact, play a game where you have to repeat back the last word of the sentence that they say so that it makes you listen all the way to the end. And then the third little homework assignment, if you really want to go for it, if you really want to up your game, is pay attention to what you look like socially. A little trick that I use with my clients is if you are in a leadership position and you have to deliver some news, film yourself delivering that news and then watch it and see what you look like. Or film your sales pitch. If you are in the selling profession, film your sales pitch and notice what you look like. Or if you're trying to get your partner to behave in a new way, film yourself and pretend that you're talking to your partner and your partner is the phone. How do you look when you come across? Do you look friendly, or do you look stressed, or do you look pressured? Do you look angry, right? Or stressed? What is your body language saying about you? And start to create more awareness about how you're coming across to others. The more self-aware you are, the more you pay attention to what's going on around you, and the more you are able to intentionally influence people around you in a positive way by letting them know that you care about them, by validating them. I have a little acronym. It's called LOVE. When you go around loving people, LUV, it stands for listen to, understand, and validate. The more you really listen to people, really understand where they're coming from, and really validate them for who they are and how they feel, even if you want to move them in a new direction, the greater the rapport, the greater the trust, the greater the respect, and the greater the influence and impact you will have over everyone and anyone that you interact with. Okay, so check that out, play with those things. If you have questions or comments, leave a comment for me. I hope this helps as you continue your journey of becoming an extraordinary leader. So thanks so much, and as always, I hope that your day is a sure success.